be of assistance and make a difference in the lives of the Kenyan people.
Yes.
Go well.
Okay.
Thank you so much for coming in.
Chat.
Louis Boyle, Nation Newry, it's good to have you back again. Louis Boyle there, an old Newry man, you'd remember Louis well.
Good friend of mine.
Ah, for goodness sake. And another good friend of yours spoke about you from St Kilda in Melbourne. Michael Hand.
Yeah, we had a couple of cards from him at Christmas.
Yeah. He sent me a card in which he said, "I've been watching your program. It's an enormous thrill to watch my cousin interviewing my best friend in Ireland." John, he's talking about you, John.
That's right. Strange enough, we had an email from Joe McCaig, another great friend.
Yes.
Joe, I think he's in Arizona. And Joe was a bit worried about Michael at the moment. He didn't get a Christmas card in 2 years. And he's wondering, so he emailed me the other day, is he all right kind of thing?
No, Michael's alive and well and fit and all
so
good.
we'll get a wee email off to Joe now this weekend.
And let him know.
That he's still fine.
Yeah.
Or maybe it was lost in the post.
Something like that.
Or we got 2 cards and did he inadvertently send us when he should have sent one to right.
You've been to Russia?
Yes, I
December?
We were in Kierosh from the 4th to the 10th of December. It's way northwest of Murmansk.
When you say we, was it a council delegation or just yourself?
No, it was a private visit. Eddie, the administrator, Eddie Curtis and myself. I collected £5,000 for a small school in there. And it was, the thrill that they got and the warmth that we received was you couldn't measure.
Absolutely.
Lovely people.
They're now funded to get an official name for the school and develop the school.
Well, they're going to decide after Christmas how we give them. We give them $7,500. So they're going to decide after Christmas in which direction that
they'll spend the money.
In other words, the best possible place for the advancement of the children.
Well, you know it'll be well spent because these are people you know and trust.
Oh, absolutely. Lovely, warm people.
Yeah. What kind of Christmas when you got home did you have?
Well, as I said, I had a bit of a knock. I tripped over something and I had a painful Christmas in many ways, but a fantastic Christmas, a great family Christmas. Christmas is all about family. It's all about wives and children and about giving gifts. And it's all about warmth and closeness to your family.
That's what you had,
and
John.
To your friends.
Yes, that's what you had.
Yes.
The Christmas, of course, in the news. You were in the news this week talking about the A&E department of Daisy Hill, which you would know a lot about.
Right.
And with Down going on short time at the weekends, and with Lagan Valley going on short term, we're going to get an overspill, are we?
Yeah. Well, this is interesting. I spoke to someone very prominent in the Southern Trust yesterday. What's happening is this. With Lagan Valley and Downpatrick, with them going, as we would say, on short time, closing weekends, normally there would be roughly 28 people admitted each weekend to both Lagan Valley and Downpatrick, Down Hospital. Well, some of the other hospitals will take over that.
Yeah.
In all probability, Dundonald, and depending on the seriousness of situations, the Royal. But there's a chance that we could, from our South Down point of view, we could be getting some extra patients to our
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
It's a good thing and it's a bad thing. But having said that, the Trust have informed me that they're taking into consideration, they're monitoring very carefully that situation, and they will have additional staff in Newry to cover any A&E extras.
Yeah. News today from England, a survey of GPs in England, has found that a third of GPs of the 800 surveyed believe that those who go to A&E without just cause, who are there abusing the system, should be charged for that visit. What should we charge for A&E in Newry?
No, I don't think so. I mean, accident emergency, you're walking down the street, something happens, you're involved in a road traffic accident or whatever, or maybe some domestic incident at home. These things come out of the blue. And in lots and lots of cases, we are already paying very heavily in our taxes for our health service.
Yeah.
I mean, they keep telling us it's one of the best in the world. So we're paying already for it. No, I don't think that should happen. What's actually happened in England this last 12 months and the next 18 months is the Tory party, particularly. You heard yesterday some of the things that's happening. They're now talking about 100-year jail sentences for murder and these kind of things. What we're seeing, I believe, It's Cute Cameron.
Cute Cameron.
Cute Cameron, yeah.
Now, you've heard it first here this morning.
Cute Cameron.
Cute Cameron.
Oh, yeah. Oh, well, actually, everything he does, you see him out on the street now, no tie, no nothing. I'm one of the common men.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
From a government of 23 millionaires in cabinet.
Yeah.
They haven't a clue regarding the people on the ground.
You mentioned the National Health Service and how good it is to us. It stops at the door of hospice, because when you think of Newry and when you think of hospice, the word crisis and funding are synonymous. They're constantly there. When are we going to get the politicians to pay fully for hospice?
I believe a hospice should be paid fully, and I'll tell you why. I worked in a medical ward for 17 years. If there wasn't a hospice in Newry, we would have to open 2 wards, an additional female medical and additional male medical ward to take our cancer patients. But for the hospice, we couldn't cope. So we would have to open extra wards.
But John, over the last, I'm delighted to hear you say this.
Oh, I know it.
But over the last, as long as I can remember, I haven't heard a single sentence spoken out of Daisy Hill headquarters of council saying that central government should pay for hospice. Why not?
I have been saying it in council for the last 12 years. I firmly believe...
So you're telling me I'm not listening well enough?
Yeah, I firmly believe that central government should be paying every penny of hospice their expenses.
How do we take that forward?
Well, I'm going to tell you something. It's up to our senior politicians. I'll give you an example. There is a slush fund at the moment of £80 million in Belfast. Sinn Féin and the DUP, because of their extremism, they cannot decide where this money should go. Some of that money immediately should be taken out, given to hospitals where there's additional work because of weather. In the winter we get more patients, more accidents, and given to hospices. I believe that.
Raising money for the National Health Service, we get people coming to us from across the border in County Louth. They'll come across North Leinster. They're coming in. Should they pay?
Right. Well, this is very interesting. I had this discussion out with the former CEO. Most of these people, there are approximately 4,000 people, for instance, South Down, South Armagh, North Louth, from this large area, with national insurance, their numbers, born here, reared here, married in the Republic. It would appear that they are coming forth to the north to get their whatever attention they need, whether it's surgery, whether it's investigations. They're coming forward. And how can you refuse them? It's a very difficult one.
Yeah, but if they come north for dentistry, they have to pay the dentist.
That's right.
So why not if they come into A&E? No, don't go down the American road where we say, are you insured? We don't say that.
No, but that's something then that the authorities have to look into, and look into very, very carefully. Again, you see, it's about making decisions. We have an awful lot of people in power at the moment. They're passing it on from A, B, C, D and E. They're not making decisions.
How do you feel about Downpatrick becoming your headquarters as a councillor?
There are 2 hopes. There are 2 hopes. Bob Hope and no hope.
Is that because you're not going to stand?
No, I'm not standing. But incidentally, there are 2 very interesting subjects regarding health I could talk to you about. There's one very interesting case at the moment, our stroke unit. We have been told...
You've got that guaranteed for here.
Right. But we have been told we have one of the best stroke units. Right. At the moment, there's a big discussion going on. It's gone out to discussion, a consultation paper, whether the stroke unit, the major unit, should be in Newry or Craigavon.
But Poots said this week in a statement, he said it's going to be Newry.
Marvellous. Well, I'm delighted to hear that, because they've told us we're one of the best.
Yeah.
We're one of the best. Now, you see the clip on TV at night, fast, face. These are the what happens, symptoms. Your face, you get this, your face weight to the side kind of thing. Your arms, you have no power in one arm. Your speech, slurred speech. And then time, getting the patient. Vitally important to get the patient, as soon as possible, to a hospital. Get them scanned. And then when it's discovered what type of stroke, you have 3 or 4 different types of stroke. There's only one type of stroke that will react to the clot bursting thing, drug. And not in all cases, but in most cases, if they get this, if it's a clot, it scatters the clot, and in most cases they recover, which is fantastic news with that particular drug.
That fast advert that you remind me of, it makes me feel inside that if I get a stroke, I'm gone, because there's no way with there's no way I'm going to get to the hospital quickly enough if time is of that nature of essence. How am I going to get there quickly enough to be treated and get through and blah, blah, blah?
But one time I was told, a consultant told me a few weeks ago, John, he says, that's not the most important thing. Is it not, says I? I said, I worked for 17 years and I looked after this. the big point was, the big discussion was, would there be occupational therapy and physiotherapy at the weekend, Saturday and Sunday? And it would appear at one stage they didn't have the money for the 2 hospitals, so that was the discussion. Now the other thing is in relation to, there's what's called a paediatric standard assessment going on in the north of Ireland. Now what does that mean? It means there isn't a hospital at the moment who meets the criteria, the new criteria for looking after children. So there's this assessment going on. Now, this is vitally important. If we were not to meet in Newry this assessment, if we were not to meet the new bar, as it were, it could affect children's. Children's and maternity are interlinked. SCABU, this is the ward where the premature babies are born and looked after. And our A&E, 25% of our patients, they come in via A&E. So it's vitally important that we meet this criteria. And it's vitally important that the senior politicians in our area, that are on the ball, that they're exerting their influence.
John, you can't retire. You can't hang up the political gloves. You can't.
Right.
Come on, you're full of passion here.
I know.
You're talking and you're demanding.
Well, I spent most of my life...
Look at the experience you're putting on the shelf.
And I remember looking after one of your own children many years ago. And that was the most pleasant experience. And you haven't changed a bit.
Tell us no, but I'm being serious here. We will be the poorer if John McArdle doesn't continue.
Well, I'll be on the sidelines, and I have loved the job. I was doing a job that I loved, and I was getting paid for doing it.
Yeah.
And I was able to run my 2 boys, and they've done fairly well. And yes, it was a fantastic. In other words, the matron asked me one time, Matron Grant, she said to me, John, who's the most important person in the building?
Oh, yeah.
So I looked at her, and after 10 seconds, I said, the patient.
Yes, of course.
Oh, I said, look, I says, Matron Grant, if it wasn't for the patient, there was no need for you or for me. Oh, yeah.
Now, let's put it to bed once and for all, because we're laughing and we're joking and we're enjoying the interview.
Right.
Decision time is coming for John McArdle. Tell the people whether they will have the opportunity to vote for you in the new Super Council.
No, I don't think so. I have, and I've loved, I have a degree in politics, so I'm always passionate about politics, because what is politics? It's all about doing things, and it's doing things for your neighbour. It's helping people who may or may not be articulate enough to reach this thing, to get that decision, to get that job done. And that's what it's all about. It's all about getting things done.
But the time has come for you to say farewell.
I think so. But my philosophy is you must move on. I recognise the changing of the guard.
We will play you a piece of music to recognise you're recognising the changing of the guard.
Fantastic.
Young fellow, play the music now.